If you've ever tried to get in shape, maybe get flatter abs, more toned arms, overall just weight loss, then you actually know what it takes to increase conversions. I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me. I'm going to explain all of it in today's episode. You're listening to the High Conversion Health Marketer Podcast. I'm your host, Linda Malone, certified conversion copywriter, award-winning content writer, and founder of The Copy Works. My clients have seen conversion rates jump up by as much as 40% on landing pages, and some email sequences have landed my clients huge contracts. So you're in the right place if you're ready to jack up your conversions and make more sales. So here's what you'll take away from today's episode. I'm going to show you 5 classic fitness goals that double as powerful copy strategies so you can boost conversions and maybe even pick up a workout tip or two from me today. So a little backstory, as you probably know by now, if you've followed me for a little bit of time, before I became a writer, first a magazine writer and now a copywriter, I was a personal trainer for about 20 years. And so as a trainer, I would hear some of the same comments and goals from my clients. I want flat abs. That was number one. Okay. I want to get rid of this. They would say, grabbing their midsection. Or I want a stronger core, or I want toned arms. I could wear a tank top, in the summer, that kind of thing. So I recently began thinking of these comments and realized how each of them actually mirrors a strategy that you can use to improve your marketing and make your copy work harder. So let's just jump right in so you know what I'm talking about. So let's start with what I had been getting most frequently as a trainer. The request was, I want flatter abs. So flat abs has a lot to do with things that are outside of just crunches. Everyone wants to know, how many crunches should I do? It comes down to diet is really what it comes down to. A combination, as with so many things in fitness, it's a combination of what you're eating, how you're working out. And the core muscles are what it sounds like. They are what stabilize your entire body. So when it comes to copy, that's like your value proposition. So your value proposition, which tells people what you do, how you do it, who you do it for, and how you differ from your competitors, that is the core of your messaging, which is why I am always talking about it. It's the first step when I work with a client is we need to get to your core value prop. So when it comes to your copy, you want to strip away everything that doesn't matter as far as what your value prop is. There's room in the rest of your website or for other projects, for other copywriting, for the other information. But your value prop is really a stripped down statement of what I just said, who you are, who you serve, what you do, and how you do it. That's different from your competitors. That's the most important part. And so it matters because confusing messaging, someone who's confused is not going to buy. If they don't know what you do or they don't know why they should work with you instead of your competitor, then you're seen as a commodity and they may just go by price, which you never want. Okay, so number 2, toned arms. Now, granted, I got this a lot more for my female clients, but also I worked with more women than men. And so when it came to tank top season, it was like, I really want my arms to look good. So when it comes to your copy, this is like, okay, your arms are going to do the heavy lifting. It also is an extension of your core. So think about, first you have your value prop and then, okay, your core, and then you have your arms, which, and granted, I'm taking a little liberty here with my analogy, but when you do the heavy lifting, this would be, believe it or not, your calls to action. Because your call to action, I'm talking about button copy, they call it micro copy. That is literally the conversion point. So somebody's on your website, for example, and they want to know more about what you do, or they want to find more information, or they want to contact you, and there's a button. That button is the conversion point. So clicking on that will take them to wherever you would like them to go, and you want to make sure that that button is very clear. Because if it says something vague like learn more, you're really taking a chance, and the person themselves is taking a chance because they don't know what they're going to get on the other side of that door. Because that's really what buttons are. They're almost like, you're opening a door to something and they don't know. So instead of using a call to action, consider using a call to value. So what do I mean by that? You want to have something on the button that tells them what they'll get on the other side, or what they'll get when they click that button. It could be show me how, or book my spot, or I want to join, or something that tells them what exactly is the value. I want to, and then fill in the blanks, like I want a demo, that kind of thing. And by the way, if you put your call to action or call to value in the first person, they're more likely to click on it. Studies have shown. So that's number 2. Number 3, of course, weight loss is always a big reason why I would get hired as a trainer, especially after January 1st. Now, the thing with weight loss is people associate it with a lot of negative things. I'm going to be starving. I can't eat what I want to eat. And so when it comes to copy, that analogy holds where you want to give them enough information where they can make a decision, but you don't want to overwhelm them. So it's almost like cutting back on your calories. You want to have the quality calories, but you want to start eliminating or reducing the junk around it. So think of lean sales pages. And it doesn't mean that it has to be short, but it has to be precise and clear what you say, because the long sales pages still work better than short. And that was a research or a survey that was done a couple of years ago. People complain about long sales pages, but they actually work. So, but you want to give them a way maybe to maneuver through a long sales page, for instance. So give them like snackable content, have boxes of information, have bullet points, break it up with even GIFs. Is it GIFs or GIFs? I'm not sure. But one of those funny cartoons so that they're not just reading blocks of text. So they get everything they need to make a decision, and it enables them to see where they want to be on that page by where you direct them and by just your formatting of that page. And so number 4, some people just want improved overall health. They want to get in shape. Most of my clients that I worked with were 50 or older because that was really when, for one, they usually had the disposable income. Number 2 is, as one of my clients said to me, I realize I have more years behind me than I have in front of me, probably. Kind of morbid, but, it got him motivated to work out with me. So when it comes to your copy, you want to also think long-term, overall, sustainable marketing strategy. In other words, one viral post does not mean you're going to be successful. I've had viral posts on LinkedIn that did not lead to anything. And I'm talking 60,000 views. Maybe I got more engagement, and down the road that may turn into something, but that's the long-term strategy of it. But don't rely on just, well, I did this one thing, and if it doesn't work, I'm not going to do it anymore. You want to have that sustainability. And this could be optimizing your content for SEO, something that's going to pay dividends over time. Maybe an email welcome sequence that automatically goes out to people who just join your list, that sort of thing. So think long-term, and it's like, planting seeds that are going to help you later on. So it's the same when it comes to your health, is that just because you had a salad today for lunch doesn't mean you're going to lose weight and that you're going to be healthier tomorrow. But over time, you start substituting healthy foods for not so healthy foods, it will pay off in the end. Problem is, most people give up on both things way too early. So number 5, I would also get people who would work out with me because they have a special event coming up. So a wedding, either they're going to be in a wedding or going to a wedding or some big event. Maybe it's a reunion, a high school reunion, college reunion, where people haven't seen you in a while. So you want to make sure that you make a good impression and that you look good. And the problem with that is that sometimes after the event, the person would just go back to the way they were. But you don't, just think about what I just said for number 4. You want to make sure it's like a lifestyle change, because overall you're going to be better off for it. But the thing is that people do tend to act more when there's urgency. So how this relates to copy is to have urgency in your offers. And I don't mean false urgency. I mean, if you have an early bird offer, limited spots, make sure that that's true. You don't want to have people, that sign up and you realize that it's past the deadline and you let them come in and then they go, oh, well, I'm not taking this person seriously anymore because clearly their deadlines are not really deadlines. You don't want that to happen, because people will act more closer to the deadline. And there's that whole thing with, if you've ever done a launch, where there's that launch free fall, they call it, where it seems like no one's buying. And then the day before your deadline, everyone piles on. I've seen this happen with my own launches in the past. To recap, so whether you're aiming for, flat abs or, better arms, think about, how this relates to your own business. So get your core messaging down, your value proposition, make sure that it's super clear and specific. Look at your calls to action and consider changing them, at least some of them, to calls to value. What will that person get when they click on that button? Number 3, you want to provide value without overwhelm. So be specific in what you are saying on your landing pages. Give people enough information to make a decision without overloading them with information. And then improving overall health or creating a sustainable marketing strategy. So think long-term, not short-term. And lastly, make sure that you adhere to your deadlines, and that if you have a way to get people motivated to take action, whether it's a countdown timer, early bird offer, that kind of thing, to use those, because people will make decisions at the very end. And that's just the way we are, human nature. I do it myself. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, please leave a review. Let me know what you thought and send me a DM on LinkedIn. I'm most active there. And I will talk to you next week.